So he just standing there looking up at me, looking at Adam's apple. That's how short this dude is. So I turn around and I walk away. I'm about 15 feet or more. And then I hear, "And you will be dead." And he fired at me.
Oh.
So basically what he thought was going to happen was he did these little slow matrix hand gestures.
So you could hit him.
Thinking that I would just be impulsive, that I would be reactionary, that he'll move and I would strike him, and then he would have a reason to shoot me.
Oh, he would have had me.
You know what I'm saying?
I would have fallen for that shit. I'm going to kick you in your chest.
You know what I'm saying?
So he would have shot me. There is a not so small city about 30 minutes away from downtown Atlanta called Sharpsburg. Most of the people that I've met there are wholesome, decent human beings. But the stories you're about to hear will transport you back to America in the 1950s. Our guest today is Dr. David Ware, who is a transplant from New York. His life has been threatened. He has been harassed, stalked, and all this in 2025. One of his neighbors even set up a karaoke machine so he can sing racially charged lyrics in order to get a reaction out of David. You will hear a short clip of this nonsense. But I must apologize for the audio quality since we were pulling it from David's surveillance cameras. This is one episode where you'll need to stay through the very end. Welcome to Manhood Matters. Let's get to it.
In the living room, finds his voice. 4 souls gathered, making a choice. Speaker less great, no sugar to cope. From a black man's lens, each word a keynote. Mental storms, physical strife, hustling hard, the pulse of life, race love, and entrepreneurs climb real tall echoes of fire.
Welcome to the show, David.
What's going on, brother? How are you?
So glad you're here, brother. Welcome back, Leon.
Thank you.
David, why don't you just take us to the beginning, man? So first of all, I want to introduce the city of Sharpsburg, Georgia. Where is it?
It falls right between Peachtree City and Noonan.
People picture Atlanta and they hear Sharpsburg. Sounds like it's 150 miles away. It's
Nah, not at all. It's about 28 to 38 miles south of the Atlanta International Hartsfield Airport.
Gotcha. So, I mean, from your house to downtown Atlanta, you're there in about 30 minutes.
Out there, 30.
All right, so you're not that far out. I just want to make sure that people understand this is not some 40 days and 40 nights to get to some random little hick town somewhere. So take us to the beginning, man. When did you move there?
I reached out to this Korean sister that I'm real cool with, who's a realtor, and I told her, I was like, look, get me as close as you can possibly get me to Peachtree City. I didn't want to live in Peachtree City because that's Fayette County. And in Fayette County, they don't care if you got 50 or 150 acres of land, you only can have 3 dogs. And I have more than 3 dogs. I supplement my income with dog breeding as a hobby. So I ended up finding this house in Sharpsburg, and it was perfect. Because I told her, I said, I ain't want no HOA. I wanted to be as close to Peachtree City as possible. And when you pulled up the mapping system on Google Maps, my house was right underneath the P in Peachtree City. That's how close it was in proximity. So when I first go to see this house, it was a Southern Caucasian gentleman outside. You know what I'm saying?
He's really kind of with the descriptions.
Yeah, you know, it was a Southern Caucasian
gentleman outside.
Yeah, you know, it's a real nice neighborhood, real nice. You know, as I was coming in, I seen color. You know, I seen, you know, made me feel a little better. I got out, and he was like, "How you doing, young man? You interested in my house?" I said, what are you asking? $358,000.
So that should have been your first red flag, because normally the seller is not present when a real estate agent shows the house.
Oh, yeah, but nobody wasn't showing it yet. This was me going there just to see it on my own, just check it out on my own.
Okay.
I told him what was the least amount of money you'd be willing to accept. He said, for you, $350. He said, so you interested? I said, no, possibly. So I can kind of feel that he was highballing me. So I turned around and got all the information. Reached out to my attorney and told him to do a private purchase. My lawyer emailed him. I guess he saw the email and saw a white face on the email and accepted the low ball. We thinking that, you know, this will, you know, you start low and you go high.
How low was the low ball?
Man, like 290,000.
So he was going to get you for 60 more thousand because you was black when you came.
Pretty much. My lawyer was like, look, man, go ahead and handle your business. I'll set everything up. Your credit is stellar. You know, you'll be in there in a month and a half. So he finally contacted me and was like, yeah, she's yours. You can go over there and meet with the owner on Saturday. I said, okay, 12 o'clock. He's going to give you a handbook and some keys and a little tour of the property. Not a problem. I show up. As I'm pulling up to the house and I get out, he goes, hey, I remember you, but as you can see, she sold. I said, yeah, I know. He said, yeah, I'm waiting for the new owner right now. Then me and my wife going to Florida. I said, yeah, I know. He said, what do you mean you know? You keep saying you know. What do you know? I said, I know. I said, because I'm the new owner. How are you the new owner? I told you I wouldn't accept no less than $350,000 for my home. You did. And then in his own voice, I said, but you told my attorney that you would gladly accept $298,000. So he turned beet red in the face, dropped the book on the fold-up chair, dropped his ring of keys on the fold-up chair, gripped himself, and switched off. And I was like, hey, where you going? Does this mean I don't get the tour? And he just jumped in his car and bounced. So I was happy to get the house. I have like a photographic memory. The very first time I came to see the house, there was a tree in alignment with the driveway. And I could swear that tree was sitting at 12 o'clock. Now the tree was sitting at 1 o'clock. The last house had trees on the incline. Every time it rained, the ground was receding. You know what I'm saying? So we was like, in Georgia, trees
fall,
tumble over all the time, coming straight out of the root base. So that was like unnerving. Still couldn't ignore this tree situation, but I let it go.
Yeah, because I'm dying to know where this is going. How do you get a tree from 12 to 1? But go ahead.
Right.
Because as it rains, the ground was softening, so it was leaning. It started to lean.
Oh, because I'm still like, did the whole tree fucking move like roots?
Yeah,
exactly. I'm trying to figure out. And it actually did.
Moving.
Oh, wow.
So I turned around now and I order a dumpster. Because I got a whole bunch of, I said, before I start unloading this stuff in the house, let me get this dumpster. And there's a bunch of stuff on the property that I didn't want. So we started cleaning out the attic, cleaning out the basement, garages and everything. Because these people were old.
They were hoarders.
They wasn't hoarders, but, he held on to all the old tile that was left. They held on to all the extras. Roofing shingles, stuff for the deck, all that kind of stuff. Maybe 3 weeks to a month later, I'm inside the house, and the whole house shook. I ran outside on the deck, and oh and behold, that tree fell. That tree hit one tree, the two trees hit a third tree, and all three trees hit the guy's shed, demolished it.
Your neighbor's
shed?
Okay.
Yeah, demolished it. The guy to the left of me, if I'm standing in the doorway. So I'm standing out there like, wow, what a way to make an intro. Just moved into this neighborhood. I noticed quickly while I'm standing on the deck looking, he's standing in the middle of his backyard looking. So I said, hey, who's responsible for that? And he says, I don't know. I said, well, I'll call my insurance company. He said, yeah, I'll do the same. Turn around, the insurance company says, well, if any of those trees were dead and you neglected to recognize the fact that they were dead, then you're liable. Mm-hmm. If them trees are healthy and they fell on their own, it's an act of God. They sent somebody out that took some plugs out of each of the trees, found out all the trees were healthy. Okay, so it was ruled an act of God. This guy being the petty individual, small-minded individual that he is, instead of him just coming to me like, listen, neighbor, I got $1,000 deductible. Can you throw me a few dollars on it? I have everything removed. But at a later date, I found out he was supposed to have everything removed anyway. You turn around, he had insurance adjuster came out there. That's what they did. They looked at 3 trees and his shed. They cut a check for all of that.
Right.
Well, this guy's so petty that when the tree company shows up, he cuts all 3 of the trees in half on the property line.
So the trees that fell on his side,
right,
he took care of. The tree, the other half of the tree, you had to take care of.
So he had this guy. I said to the tree guy, hey, what's going on? He was like, psh. He gestured to this guy. I said,
because the insurance company paid for the whole thing.
The insurance company had paid for the whole thing removed.
Correct. Yeah.
He turned around and told them to cut it right on the property line. So they removed everything on his property and left everything that was on my property.
Yeah, that's a dickhead.
So I also found myself one day having my first Karen experience. I walk out to the mailbox. I ain't see nobody to the right, left, nowhere. I'm looking down at the mail, and I turn around and I hear, oh, you must be Mr. Ware. I said, I am. Who's asking? She said, my name is Gail. You must be the one who shysted and such out of their home. Shysted? I said, I didn't shiest, scam, con anyone. An offer was made, an offer was accepted, and I am now the new owner. So you say, I said, well, you know what? Let's try it like this. For the remainder of the time that I'm here and black and breathing, and you are here, I said, you don't have to worry about anything that takes place with me and this property, because you can stay the F out of my business. So she was like, so she switched off. I said, here we go. First Karen. After he did the pettiness with cutting the tree on the property line, I ordered the dumpster. But I got an audience. Neighbors to the left, neighbors to the right, neighbors directly across the street. Everybody's looking at this truck back the dumpster down my driveway. So I was like, well, you know, some people entertain, you know, very easily entertained.
Yeah.
3 days in on the dumpster, hey, Mr. Dave, I'm hearing somebody call me. I look up. It's dude next door, you know, at the tree.
The tree guy.
I see you got yourself a dumpster there. Yeah. Well, I would like to know, can I put a few things in your dumpster? Now, you know, first thought process was hell 2Fs no. I just can't be that petty person, you know what I'm saying? So I said to myself.
And Leon's over here like having a damn mini stroke. You all right, brother?
No.
I'm saying,
He's like,
Because my reaction would have been his first one.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
yeah, I mean, it was.
The reason why it's costing me to have this dumpster is because you were petty, but now you want to throw something in it?
Right.
yeah.
Nah.
So me, I always try to be the bigger person. So I say to him,
I'm working on that, and I know it's Sunday, but
yeah, I walk. So I gesture for dude to come over. I said, sir, let me explain something to you. I don't have a problem with you putting anything in that dumpster. But you need to know ahead of time that anything that you put in that dumpster, you will contribute to the cost of that dumpster. Are we clear? He was like, oh, yes, most definitely. I started waiting for him to put something in the dumpster. He would never put nothing in the dumpster when I was around. So I turn around, I leave, go run some errands, and I come back and I see why. When I come back, you know, we got like 2 hot water heaters, an old dresser, you know what I'm saying, 3 tires.
so obviously he's got some help with putting
Right.
his stuff in there.
Put a bicycle. Yeah, I had a grandson over there that was in his early 20s. You know, put an old bicycle in there and about 4 or 5, maybe 6 bags of trash, 55-gallon joints. So me being a proactive individual that I am, I take out my cell phone, I took a picture, and I sent it to the dumpster company. And I said, if I was to have this picked up and this only, how much would it cost? It was like $150, $180. So I go looking for dude. I can't find him. He ducking me. Take me 3 days to find him. So I finally roll up on him, and he's all startled. I said, hey, what's going on, neighbor? He said, hey, what's going on? Oh, what can I do for you? I said, what can you do for me? I said, I've been, you know, trying to seek you out to get that bread, that money, your financial contribution to the dumpster. Oh, I don't remember us having that discussion. You don't remember us having that discussion? I said, bro, I'm from New York City. I'm from up top, Jersey, New York. And I know I made it crystal clear that you was going to contribute to the cost. He says he has a hearing impediment. He don't remember that conversation. But how much you looking for anyway? All of what you put in there solely? $150 to $180. Well, I don't have $150 or $180. And I ain't taking all that stuff out of that dumpster. Me and my grandson went through hell putting all that stuff in the dumpster. I said, oh, you don't have the money and you ain't going to take nothing out of the dumpster. Huh? Not a problem. I missed the gadget. I got a small, medium, large, and extra large hand truck. I guess he didn't think I would, but I strapped that extra large hand truck up 3 times and drug all that stuff up the driveway and across the property line and put it in the middle of his driveway.
That's a lot of work.
And,
That is so exhausting. Just listening to him.
That would have been me.
Yeah, but I didn't care.
I'd have done the same thing.
I didn't care.
Because I can be king petty.
Yeah, I didn't care. I didn't care. He just needed to learn, man.
Yeah.
First of all, I already went against my own judgment by allowing him to put anything in there. I mean, I really wanted to just hurt his feelings the first time. Like, you had the audacity to come in my face and ask me for anything after that petty nonsense. Now, when he came home and saw this, oh, he was hotter than fish grease, as they say. You know what I'm saying? He was hot.
Yeah.
He was out there on his cell phone talking loud. He's marching. He's mad. And he's walking around and stuff. It sat there for about 3 24-hour periods. They didn't move it till like the 4th day. And that was it right there, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like what they say, what is understood does not need to be explained. It was nothing to talk about. We done. So now I love dogs. I got my dogs running my property. Every time my dogs run my property, old boy we talking about, you know, with the dumpster, calls animal control. Okay. I got a little wellness office in my home that I work periodically when I'm, not on my job clock. And when I have clients come over, his compadre, which is a Mexican gentleman that lives directly across the street from me, every time clients come over, he calls the sheriff's department and reports us for illegal parking.
Because they parking in front of your house on the street.
They parking in the house street. So every time animal
Is that in fact illegal?
No.
Okay.
Animal control came out 9 times, about 7 to 9 times. Didn't find anything wrong, no infractions, no nothing. Matter of fact, even 2 out of the 9 times, they knew I didn't know they was coming. So I just let them have a tour of my house and how I keep my dogs and everything. And that won me a lot of brownie points with them because he's like, man, the man was transparent. He didn't know when he was coming. Let us see his dogs, all healthy. He feed them top shelf. His dogs eat better than we do. So dude across the street, come to find out he's the compadre, the dude next door, or at least getting cool behind me. Enemy of my enemy is my friend type situation.
There you go. I was going to say the same.
Right.
So the Hispanic dude, forget he's a brown person.
Oh, yeah, but this Hispanic dude, I noticed one thing about certain Hispanics. They want to be white.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And him as an individual, he definitely had an issue. This particular Spanish gentleman was about 6 foot, 200 pounds, so he was a little larger than the average.
But one thing that I've noticed is very, very true. A lot of Hispanics that I've personally dealt with in the corporate world or in just in life in general, when it serves them to lean more on the dark side.
They will.
I mean, they'll sit here and dog the white dude and talk to me about, these white people, blah, blah. But the second they get favor with the white person, they will do everything in their power to see if there's a way they can, in their mind, elevate to that status. There's no elevation there, but in their mind, it's like, if I can be close to this person, I will gang up on this other brother right here because it serves their purpose, because they need to be accepted.
Exactly. And the dude next, the Mexican gentleman across the street, he definitely was of a warped mentality, because he used to brag about the fact that he had white people cleaning his house. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I have noticed all my life that you have certain groups of Latino Hispanics who are always brown nosing up against white people, all because they want to be white badly. And things between me and the Mexican gentleman escalated because one day he purposely parked his pickup truck directly across from my driveway. Meaning if somebody's coming to pull in the driveway,
back out, they can't get out.
If they're trying to pull in the driveway, it's hard to get in the driveway. I mean, they can do it, but they got to finagle because he's right across from the driveway. And if somebody's backing out, it's fun. They got to finagle. So I was having, I have a 501c3 nonprofit organization that's registered with the United Nations called Humanity's Hope for Healing. So I was having a Humanity's Hope for Healing meeting, and we had cars everywhere. And that's nothing new in the neighborhood. Everybody has these little cookouts and little gatherings, and they got cars parked everywhere.
Yeah.
So dude sees all these cars parked over on my side of the street. He has the biggest driveway in the neighborhood, one of them big giant horseshoe driveways, and then still got another driveway that goes to a garage to another section. So you got plenty of parking. He comes down off his property and parks his Toyota pickup directly across from my driveway. A Uber Eats vehicle was backing out. It was a Mini Cooper. The car was so small that it backed into his tire. It never even touched the body of the vehicle. And the person barely nudged it, pulled up off it, and they left. Well, at a later date, he must have checked his video cameras and seen that his vehicle was hit. In spite of the fact that there was no visible damage, he went on the warpath. He's running around outside in front of his house talking trash about somebody hit his vehicle. So my doorbell rings, and it's the wife. I made a beeline straight out the front door, across my lawn, and I walked up to him and caught him off guard. He turned around and saw all chest, looked up. Hey, man, you're standing too close to me. And all that. I said, listen, bro, I hear that there's an issue. Yeah, there's an issue. Somebody hit my truck. Show me your truck, bro. Show me where your truck got hit at. Right here. Give me these little light hand gestures. Right here, right here. Show me the damage. Right here. Right here what? There's no visible damage. I'm not going to go out here and be playing private investigator to run down a situation that there's no visual damage. And I said, next time it's a problem, come to me. Don't send your wife. He ain't like that at all. Next thing you know, I go away on business for 3 days. I make these little holistic health wellness bundles. and my clients come to the house to pick the bundles up, and my kids was giving them to them in spite of the fact that I'm not there. So as clients were pulling up, coming to the house getting bundles, everybody who had a black car, he was running down on them. Well, he messed up. One of the individuals he ran down was a Fulton County sheriff's wife. Mm. And she was livid. And she got one of those husbands that the sun rises and sets on her. He's the kind of dude that even tell you, if my wife is in your company, you're responsible for my wife. So she's all upset, and she's talking about how she's going to call her husband. And I'm like, please, let's not do this. So I go over there, and I just go beast mode on dude, but I'm monotone with it. I said, yo, man, child, you really need to grow up. This last woman you didn't ran up on, I said, you didn't ran up on. I said, it's not like everybody's not somebody, but this woman is somebody. And the somebody is he's a Fulton County sheriff. And I said, dude will literally, bruh, come up here from Fulton County and skull F you over his wife. After that, all these police coming to the house. So now that we got several animal control calls.
It's a lot of harassment, bro.
Yeah, a lot of harassment. So now one day they ended up calling both. Now I'm standing at the end of my driveway with animal control and the sheriff's department. And we have a conversation, the three of us, and they turn around and go to these two gentlemen and let them know. At this point, you're harassing Mr. Ware. You're trying to weaponize us against him. We now see it, it's recognized and noted.
Yeah.
You call us over here again, and it's a fictitious situation again. Fill out a report in the petition towards the court of harassment against the two of y'all.
Well, my problem or question is that them being called that many times, those are false police reports. Why is there no charges against him or anything like that?
Exactly. That definitely crossed my mind multiple times. But I'll let them do their thing. I'll let them cook. Mm-hmm. Now, both of them decide to go get dogs and weaponize the dogs. At this point now, my spirit says, go out and buy a surveillance system. So I buy the best one. I have the company come out professionally, install it and everything. I mean, this thing got all the bells and whistles. As soon as the system goes up, I come out my house one day, and there's a dog standing in front of my door, growling at me. I chase the dog off. Over the next couple of days, the dog is in this yard, growling at different family members. So I walked right up to the property line. I said, let me speak to you for a minute. He was like, what do you want? I said, look, I don't know what's up with you and this dog, but I noticed that y'all went into some shelter somewhere and got some dog. This dog ain't even no puppy. Nobody don't know this dog. This dog is growling at my kids, growling at me. Keep this dog on your side of the property.
Sounds reasonable.
You know what I'm saying? Keep your dog off my property. Well, you the one to be talking. You know what I'm saying? Your dogs be all over the place. I said, look, I'm not going to go back and forth with you. This is a courtesy. If I catch that dog on my property again, I'm going to make him disappear. So at this time, the wife then got out the hook. She didn't pull in the driveway while we talking. She gets out. She's hearing the conversation. She act like she wants smoke. She trying to get to me.
What you mean trying to get to you?
Trying like she want to fight.
No way.
Yeah, like when I said to them, I catch the dog on my property again, I'm going to make it disappear.
Yeah.
She said, I wish you would. Put your hands on my dog, touch my dog, boom, boom, boom. I'm like, I said, man, cut her loose. Let her go. I said, I understand that you wear the pants over there. I see you doing all the work, and she working every day. I see her leaving. I said, but let me explain something to you. You know what I'm saying? You run up on me, acting like a man, I'm going to treat you like a man.
And that's for any man, but this is an audio, so there's no visualization. How tall are you?
I'm almost 6'8".
And you're in good shape.
Yeah.
So it ain't 6'8", in fact. This is
Right.
a 6'8" brother in great shape.
Right.
And she wants to run up on your face.
Right, exactly. She about 5'3",
Yeah.
about 200 pounds.
Oh, my God.
You know what I'm saying? So they took what I said serious because immediately they installed an electric fence.
Electric?
Yeah, you know,
for the dog.
For the dog.
Oh, okay.
For the dog.
Jesus Christ. I
Yeah.
thought.
For the dog.
They immediately installed an electric fence.
Like one of those invisible fences?
Yeah,
Right.
so the dog knows he get a little shock. He come too close to the
Gotcha.
property. So now the dog is over there. So now the Mexican gentleman across the street, he goes and purchases a German Shepherd, running all over the place. Wow. You know, they ain't get the dog no kind of training. And as the dog gets bigger, he's exploring his horizons.
So let me ask you a question. So is your property fenced in?
No, my property not fenced.
It's not fenced in. Your neighbor's property is not fenced
Nope.
in.
And the one across the street ain't fenced in.
But your dogs are smart enough to stay within your property line.
Exactly. My dogs stay on my property.
But their dogs run.
Wild. Well, the one don't run wild no more because they put an electric fence on him. You would think they would have shared that information with their friend across the street.
Right.
because this situation starts escalating.
Yeah.
So now this German Shepherd is really getting bucked. He chasing folks. I got video on my phone right now. He chasing Instacart guy. Cost me a client. I had a client that I had to reimburse $1,900 to. And when she called me for the appointment, she heard a dog bark, and she said something about she got this phobia of dogs. She's scared to death of dogs. Please, put your dogs up when I come. I told her, you ain't got to worry about it. You ain't going to see no dogs. Oh, and behold, she comes to my house in an Uber. She comes in and gets her service. Everything's explained to her. She paid for her whole 90-day program in full. As she's leaving my house, the German Shepherd runs across the street onto my property, slides up behind her, chases her into the Uber.
Yeah.
She's slipping and falls like right into the Uber. She didn't hurt herself, but she literally ran right into the Uber.
Yeah. Even without a phobia, it's a German Shepherd coming at you.
And she's hollering and screaming and she's flipping and she's flopping. She gets in the car and she's gone.
Yeah.
So next thing you know, she ain't even out the subdivision yet. She's blowing up my phone. David, I told you I don't do dogs and this and this and this and this, that, and the third. I said, I'm sorry that happened to you. I saw everything on the camera. That's not my dog. Well, I'm being honest, I said it's the neighbor's dog.
Yeah.
She's like, this is not going to work out. I know I need your services, but I can't do this. You know what I'm saying? My head is hurting. I know my pressure is up right now, and this, and that, and there. Can you please cash out me back my money in full?
Yeah.
I'm pissed. So the situation still continues to escalate. I'm out there one day with the kids, and the German Shepherd runs from their yard to the neighbor's yard next door, and I didn't know the dog was over there. So the dog blindsides us, comes from the left, runs across, and snaps at one of the children, like he's trying to grab the child to run away with the child. I take everybody into the house, and then I'm hearing my sensor going off on my security system. So I check the cameras. The dog is on my property. He's running around on my property. So I go to the back porch, my back deck. So I bust at him. Pow! Misses him. But he's scared, and he runs out of my yard like his tail is on fire.
Were you actually trying to get him, or you just wanted to shoot in this direction?
I ain't gonna lie, I was trying to get him. I was hot. The dog literally, we got the dog on camera, literally his mouth opening wide, trying to grab my little cousin's daughter.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Teeth flaring, we got it all on video. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I was trying to cap him. I miss him. He goes running off the yard. Tearing. First of all, as soon as the shot goes off, everybody's scattering around the neighborhood. And then while you're scattering, everybody's looking, trying to figure out what's going on. You see this dog exiting my property with the quickness. So then everybody's hollering and screaming, oh my God, such and such. Actually thought the dog was running like that because he had been shot. Yeah. And everybody's so concerned about the dog, trying to catch up to the dog, wanting to see if the dog's okay, yada, yada, yada. So my doorbell rings. I got like 7 sheriffs in front of my house. What's all the shooting about? I said, I don't recall calling y'all about any shooting. No, the neighbor said you out here shooting at the dog. I said, oh, really? I'm not shooting at anything. How can I help you? So they come at me being accusatory. I said, are you coming over here to investigate, or are you coming over here being accusatory? I said, because if you want to come investigate, ask some questions, cool. You come over here being accusatory, then that's when I stop and my lawyer begins. Oh, you got an attorney? Who's your attorney? Then I reach in my pocket and I say, take your pick. Pull out 2 cards. So while they talking to me, I didn't even know until I checked the video cameras that 3 police officers was around the back. Mm-hmm. They didn't give them permission to be walking around on my property, but they went back there and seen a couple of my big dogs, so they stayed at the outskirts of my property. So they ended up going about their business.
Now, what is that? Fayette County?
That's Coweta.
Oh, Coweta. Oh.
Yeah, it's Coweta County.
Even the name sends chills down your spine, right?
I know the county well.
Coweta County.
Yeah, I know the county.
So after this incident, everything escalates to hand gestures and mean mugging and petty epithets and name calling and all this kind of stuff. I could care less. Say whatever you want to say. Spell my name right. They were trying to escalate the situation to a physical.
So that you could get arrested. Finally.
Right. But
everything they tried to do to get you arrested.
Exactly. So, but they don't know how to escalate because name calling doesn't escalate to physical. You want to escalate the physical, you got to get physical. So one day, I come into my garage, I hit the garage door, and the garage door goes up. As soon as the garage door goes up, the dog from next door with the electric fence comes running straight up to the property line, barking refusively at me. So I said, shut up, get out of here, you cur. And then dude sticks his head off the porch because our garages face one another. Mm-hmm. So I see a head peek off the porch. He looks, he comes down the steps, walks up to the property line and said, what you say to my dog?
Say to my dog. Why'd you say to my dog? Because you hurt his feelings.
Right. I said, man, get your raggedy old ass out of here. You don't want no problems. He said, keep it up. Keep it up. I'm smack the shit out you and put you in your place. I said, what? And gestured to the street. Man, it ain't nothing but room, time, and opportunity. So I go straight to the street. I didn't notice until after I checked the footage what he was doing prior to going to the street. But we make it down to the street, and I'm standing there. And he makes these 2 matrix hand gestures in my face real slow. He goes and waves his hand in my face. So, I back up. He goes and does it a second time. I back up. I said, dude, look, stop playing with me. You already know if you put your hands on me, I'm going to put you in a box. So he just standing there looking up at me, looking at Adam's apple. That's how short this dude is. So I turn around and I walk away. I'm about 15 feet or more. And then I hear, and you will be dead. And he fired at me.
Oh.
He fired at me.
So that's what you went to do when you went to the street. He was getting a gun.
So basically what he thought was going to happen was he did these little slow matrix hand gestures.
So you could hit him.
Thinking that I would just be impulsive, that I would be reactionary, that he'll move and I would strike him and then he would have a reason to shoot me.
Oh, he would have had me.
You know what I'm saying?
I would have fallen for that shit. I'm going to kick you in your chest.
You know what I'm saying?
So he would have shot me, yeah.
So as soon as he fires the gun, his compadre, the Mexican, hears it. The gunshot.
So you don't get hit?
No, I don't get hit.
So he wasn't trying to kill you. He was trying to scare you.
He was basically mad that he wasn't going. He was basically mad that I ain't fall for the nonsense and didn't try to use the shot to intimidate. Try to intimidate. I guess he thought I was going to be ducking and running after. I'm like, dude, I'm from New York. I said, we don't do warnings around here. So I'm still standing there. So the Mexican comes marching out immediately. Comes marching out right up to me. Sticks his hands in my face. I smack his hand down and I jump back. He flexes on me. I'm standing there unfazed. He turns to the white dude and says, give me the gun. Give me the gun. I'll shoot him. I'll kill him. Give me the gun. I'll shoot him. I'll kill him. So dude doesn't relinquish the weapon. So the Mexican dude balls up his fist and then tries to sucker punch me. Knocks my glasses off my face. We square up in the street. Now we fighting. I got hands, so I'm catching them. Pop, 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 pop. Well, in this melee, I fractured both of my hands and both of my wrists. So at this time, it's established in his mind that this guy got long arms, he can hit hard and all this stuff. I don't know if he quite figured out that I was injured, but he definitely came to the conclusion that he could not fight me fair. Mm-hmm. So he rushes in and plants my foot to the ground, like what I be doing to my sons. My sons try to run and I plant their foot to the ground. They slide out and fall down and I got them. And when he plants my foot to the ground as I'm trying to move back, I slowly drift to the ground. As soon as my butt touches the ground, he rushes in, punches me in the mouth. He sees I'm totally unfazed, so he rushes in one more time and knees me in the top of the head. So when he knees me in the top of the head, I never got hit in the top of the head before. Very disoriented. Every time I stand up, I'm falling. I stand up, I'm falling. I stand up. So I stand up and fall about 3 times. The third time, he puts his left hand on my right shoulder and says, stay down, Diablo Negro. Stay down, Diablo Negro.
Wow.
I'll kill you. I'll kill you. Stay down, Diablo Negro. So then the neighbor to the right, who's the air marshal, he comes out. What the hell is going on? Stop this madness or whatever he was saying. So Steve is a neutral party. He knows both, but he's not involved. The Mexican gentleman goes up to the white gentleman, takes the gun out of the white gentleman's hand, goes into the white gentleman's house and hides the weapon. You know what I'm saying? Then here comes Coweta. They fill up.
County.
Yeah, they come in hard and fast.
Yeah.
So they turn around, they walk up to him, where's the gun? So evidently somebody must have reported something. Because as soon as the police got out, they ain't come to me and asked for no gun. They walked straight up to him and said, where the gun at? He's like, what gun? He's like, look, we can get CID out here and get a warrant. Well, we all standing out there from 6 o'clock in the evening to 11:30 at night before they made the first arrest. They arrested the white gentleman.
Because he shot at you.
Yeah, CID came in, they went in the house and they
What's CID?
Criminal Investigations.
Yeah,
okay, gotcha.
Department. They go in there, they find the gun. So they come out, they arrest him. Then at 12 o'clock midnight, they arrest the Mexican. After they viewed all these videos and everything, I go to the hospital. Both of them was in jail for about a week.
Wow, that's surprising.
Yeah, it was in jail for about a week. A little shy of a week. I would say about 5-6 days. So when the white gentleman comes home, the judge who arraigned him was pissed. He told him he can't be within 300 yards of Mr. Ware. So dude had to go to Delaware. He had to leave the state and go to Delaware to a family house or somewhere. Only thing I know, he was gone for 4.5 months and he was pissed because evidently it must have been costing him money wherever he was at, because he went and got himself an attorney, and the attorney kept trying to make an attempt to modify this situation so he can come home, and they wouldn't do it. The Mexican disappeared too. Where he went, I don't know. I didn't see him hardly at all. Well, as soon as everybody goes to wherever they went, the grandson retaliates against me. The grandson, like 23, 24 years old. My goddaughter and her mother came to the house. And while they were taking groceries and stuff out of the car to come into the back side of my house, my sensor alarm started going off. And mind you, it's dark. It's nighttime. I go out on the back deck, and I got one of them moonbeam type flashlights, one of, like light up whole football field. So I go out on the back deck, and I don't have the flashlight on yet, but I'm just looking. And only behold, I turn the light on. Poof. Dude is up in the tree.
In
the tree.
In the tree?
He's in the tree.
On your property?
No, on the property line. It's a tree.
Gotcha.
Right on the property line. Dude is in the tree, mounting a camera on the tree.
Okay.
Looking at his phone as he's aligning the camera, pointing the camera at my family members.
Okay.
When that sunbeam light hit him, he froze up like a raccoon. I'm saying like I don't see you.
Oh my God.
And he's just sitting there.
You can't make this shit up.
Yeah, you can't make it up, bro. He just on top of the ladder with his back to me, being still, not moving. Like, you can't see me. You can't see me. You can't see me. like he using a Jedi mind trick or something. He finally comes down, grabs the ladder, runs off with the ladder. I call the police. They go in, running around out there. They catch him and arrest him in my driveway.
No way.
Yeah, there you go. Being put right in the police car.
Yeah. No, why? Why was he being arrested?
Stalking.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Stalking and harassment. They arrested him.
So the family's already been warned for harassment.
I thought it was just the grandfather. So the whole family.
Oh, yeah. Well, basically, all of them complicit.
Yeah.
They want a W so bad, they taking L's left and right. And now here comes the Mexican and the German Shepherd again. I took him back and forth to court so much to the point that the situation became so egregious, they locked him up for a week and gave him $1,000 fine for the dog.
Yeah. That's serious.
Now, mind you, he already out on bail for assault and battery on me. So everybody breaks down like he's going to the electric chair, bro. You would think that he was going to the electric chair, that he was going, you know what I'm saying, the way they was acting in this courtroom.
Yeah.
Bruh, I'm sitting there looking at these people like, are you for real?
Yeah.
So
to them, it's a psychological loss more than anything. A week in jail sucks for any damn body, right? But when you think about it, I think for them, it's like, how dare you?
Exactly.
Right.
So he gets locked up. He got to pay $1,000 fine. As soon as he comes out of jail, he comes back to the house one time and he disappears. I literally haven't seen him back over there since July the 8th of last year.
Really?
Yeah.
He hasn't been home.
He comes to court.
Okay.
But he don't live over there no more. I think she didn't kick him out.
You're dealing with all this stuff. It's been going on for what, 2 years, 3 years?
Well, I've been living there 5 years. They've been harassing me for 3. And
Yeah.
I've been taking them in and out of court for a little over 2 now.
Yeah, so it's insane what you've had to deal with. But you sent me a video of the whole karaoke incident. Tell us about that.
Right. So the grandson bails out and he's pissed, you know. He was already calling himself trying to retaliate against me because of his grandfather got locked up and couldn't come back to the house or anything. For like, I would say about a week and a half, 2 weeks, every day he see me come home outside, he'd get on this karaoke machine and make these racial epithets and all these sexual vulgarities. I mean, it gets worse than the audio than you have. And the only thing I did is just continue to just keep documenting. One day, situation really gets out of hand. My god sister was over there with her daughter. It was like 4 or 5 women, me and my son. We was in the backyard, and the neighbors were all huddled up in the driveway.
In your driveway?
No, in their driveway. And as we driving up my driveway to get ready to leave, I look to the left, and somebody said some racial nonsense, and I immediately hit the brake, threw the car into park, and jumped out and told them, keep on pressing. I said, you can have all the problems you want to have with me all day long. Now y'all fucking with my family. I said, keep on fucking around. And I got something for your asses, you white niggas. That white nigga shit hit them And that was it. Everybody leaned back, bro. They was all messed up. I know it was effective because you know how I know it was effective? 3 days later, I had that 8-foot fence up.
So I want to play the audio of what you sent me, okay? Mm-hmm. And then I want us to hear it because so set this up for us before I play it.
Like I said, the grandson, every day he seen me outside, he would get his karaoke machine and basically, call me a monkey.
And so right now we're going to listen to it so we can get both our reactions to it. You're in your driveway doing some work. Looks like you're doing some...
A seed spreader.
Yeah, seed spreader. There you go. You're standing out there and you can hear the audio. So he's taking the karaoke speaker, pointed it directly.
No, he just went in his garage and wheeled it out and just stood out there in front of his garage.
Yeah.
With the microphone in his hand.
And he was singing.
Started singing.
All right, so there you go. Here's what he's singing right now.
Me and my monkey. Me and my monkey. Hanging my phone. Monkey comes along. Me and my monkey. Getting high. Me and my monkey. Walking through the town. Me and my monkey. Going all night. Hot in camp. On the Uber. Let's not steal. And taxi sooner. Walking through the town with my monkey. Monkey. Me and my monkey. Me and my monkey.
All right, well, he could hold a note. But I think what's interesting here, David has zero reaction. He just keeps doing what he's doing, right? What are your thoughts when you hear this, Leon?
I'm enraged because I had a similar incident to this when I was in high school. But that comment enrages me, that you are comparing me to an animal. I was 17, and I showed him what an animal can do when they get their hands on you.
You didn't have the maturity that he had because this is happening, how old are you now? Like,
I'm 57.
Holy shit, dude, I thought you were like 45.
No, 57.
Yeah, but that's what's up.
Racism is something that I've dealt with in my youth. But my father was the type of person that, he craved the white lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? Anything that, he was the type of person that always think white man's ice cubes was colder than everybody else's. My father felt less of a man living in the family's estate, so he moved us to a town called Cranford, New Jersey. And in Cranford, New Jersey, they kept the black folks at the north side of the town and the south side of the town. I didn't have a stamp on my forehead that said I was the black with money living in the middle of the town. Mm-hmm. Most of the blacks who did have money lived on the north side, and most of the blacks who didn't have money lived on the south side. And I got caught in the middle. My mother would dress me to the nines and send me to school every day, and them white boys would rip my clothes up, smack me around. My father put me in a corner one day and told me that I couldn't fight back. Put me in the corner and said, "I bet I never catch me, hear about me fighting."
Why? Why was that?
He was on some Jesus Christ turn the other cheek type situation. Jesus got your back type situation. I bet I never hear anything about you fighting. And even a couple of times that I got into a couple of scuffs. As soon as I got home, this man stripped me butt naked, beating me with extension cords and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Blistering up my skin and all kind of stuff. Every time I give into a little hiccup.
So then violence was okay when he inflicted it.
Exactly. So here it is. I can't protect myself. So when these little young white boys in the town figured out, he ain't gonna fight back. I got a ruptured testicle right now from getting jumped from white boys.
You can't. Oh man.
Yeah.
What you just heard was Leon slamming down the headphones and walking away to gather himself. The conversation just became too painful at this point.
People don't understand, right? We're all in our 40s and 50s. And these things come back and they're still so very painful.
It is.
But what's even more painful is the fact that in 2024, 25, you're still living, or we all are, right? Mm-hmm. I deal with this shit every day. Every one of us would deal with it every single day. I wouldn't have to think too hard to give you the latest incident. The reason I wanted to talk about your story is because you have so many things documented. You have so much going on, but it's still inflicting a lot of pain, and people are hearing it. And, people listening to this will listen to it and just, when we can laugh it off, we'll laugh it off, right? Exactly. We laugh to keep from crying. And people being emboldened in this particular age, in this particular climate, things are getting, we don't see them getting better, we see them getting worse. And to hear your stories in 2024, 2025, it's rough.
So I'm sorry.
It's all right.
I had to get up and remove myself, man. So I grew up in Detroit because my dad had to leave Savannah, Georgia. My dad was 50 when I was born. So this was 1942. He was 19 years old. He was on a bus. Right? If you were in Savannah, Georgia, or have ever been to Savannah, Georgia, there's a street called Broad Street.
Yeah, I've been there.
So Broad Street was the side of town the black folks stayed on. And then I don't particularly know what the white side of town was. So Dad was on the bus coming home. He was attending Savannah State, which was at the time Georgia College. White man gets on the bus and they ride, and then they let off on Broad Street. And the white guy says, "Oh, I guess we in Niggerville," and laughs. And it enraged my dad so much he stayed on the bus. They get to the guy's stop. The guy gets off the bus. He goes out the front door, of course, because they sit in the front. Dad gets off the back because he sits in the back. Bus pulls off. The guy starts walking. My dad follows him, runs up to him, taps him on the shoulder, and as soon as he turns around, he punches him, knocks him down.
Wow.
Dad carried a switchblade, pulls out the switchblade, puts it to his neck, and said, "I guess you in Niggerville now." He said, "I ride that bus every day. If I ever hear you say those words again, I'll kill you." Put the knife up, turns around, runs back toward his side of town. The white man gets up, runs toward his side of town, never to see each other again. The lucky thing is my dad got home, and him and his mother were extremely close. He told his mother what he did. She immediately got him out of town.
Yeah,
that was smart.
This is the late 40s.
She immediately got him on a bus and sent him to Tampa to stay with relatives. And I'm shaking telling you that story because I can't imagine being told not to fight back.
Yeah, it was hard.
That's insane.
My dad and my grandfather, if any white man, black man, green man put his hands on you and you don't fight back,
that's a problem.
you got a problem.
Yeah,
because we don't take no ass whippings in this house.
Well,
if we take them, it's because it ain't because we wasn't fighting.
Exactly. It got to a point where it had to end. So this whole situation with this showdown in Sharpsburg, I'm not a stranger to racism. I went to school overseas in the UK. Same situation. When the situation got so out of hand with the schooling, at the age of 13, my mother sent me overseas to go to school. And it's the same thing. Now they're hating you because you're American, hating you because you're black.
It's always something.
Yeah, hating you because you're smart enough to be in this, this young and gifted program type situation. But I've always had a winning personality, And one thing my grandmother and my family always taught me, they said, as a black man, in order to be valued, you must specialize. So I've always gone into specialty fields as far as employment. And even being down here in the South, I see here in Georgia how they treat black people from Georgia. They treat different from black people from
up north.
Up north,
yeah, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? I moved to Sharpsburg because I wanted my children to have a cool, calm, collected, quiet, laid-back, reserved life.
Yeah,
real good school systems out there. I ain't gonna lie, I really didn't see none of this coming, man.
No one could have. I've been in the South since 2006. I've experienced a lot of racism, but when I heard your story, I was like, that's some next level bullshit. I've had my life threatened. I've had, the guns pulled on me by those who were sworn to serve and protect. Didn't matter what I looked like, what I was dressed in, what the environment was. It's happened, but that story was one that I wanted to share. I do thank you, David, for coming through and sharing that. I know it brought up a lot of emotions.
Yeah, it did.
Not just from recently, but from your childhood as well. I know, Leon, it brought up a lot of emotions in you as well. I'm trying to keep it together, man, because none of that stuff, people hear it, and most of us go through life acting like we're not fazed by it. But psychologically, there's so much trauma that we have to put up with and deal with.
And even now, when it comes down to these neighbors, man, I pity these people, bruh. I know I have not always been like this, but I know I'm not a fucked up dude. I could still watch, just like yesterday. I'm watching some show. They call them, I guess they call people like me empaths. I can watch a movie, man. I be sitting up there crying, bruh. I can feel the pain. I can feel everybody's pain. Yeah. I've always been a person who can feel everybody's pain. And then I always used to think, damn, I used to really think that I was a fucked up dude. I did everything in my power, tried not to become my father, bruh. Fighting them demons for years, even when it come down to my own sons. That's the biggest war I've been dealing with, trying to make it my business not to become like this man, and got to a point where I was actually about to become him. And that's when I met Paka Khan, and he started teaching me how to choose my battles, how to walk away from certain situations. Mm-hmm. You already know who you are. You know the power and the skill and the talent you possess. You ain't got nothing to prove. Me being who I am, people, since I've been living down here in the South, they poke the bear. They want to make that nigga come out, dude. They really want to be justified. Oh, look at him.
There it is.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I refuse to give that to them.
That's right. Yeah. It's your power.
You know what I'm saying? I refuse to. Yeah. That's why even with this whole situation with this showdown in Sharpsburg, normally I carry every day. You know what torments me more than any of this mess that happened up there is the fact that I carry every day, and this one particular day when dude threatened my life and shot at me when my back turned, that's what plays in my mind. What would have happened if I would have carried?
You probably would have killed him.
It wasn't no probably in it. He would have been dead. I would have heard, and you would have been dead, and I would have heard that gunshot, and I would have drawn, turned, and I would have tapped him up.
Yeah.
And that, he would have made me a killer. That's right. That's the one thing that plays in my mind is the fact that I thank God I was not carrying and was not put in a position where I was forced to take a life.
You just said a little while ago, you said you're not a fucked up dude. And what I'm hearing, you talked about empathy and then your power to connect to people emotionally and feel their pain. And I think there's way more to not just, I'm not a fucked up dude. It speaks to the goodness in your heart to where the concern for you right now is not so much anything other than what he would have made you become, because it's something you're trying to get away from, even though it would have been justified. Because I got to tell you, I don't think I would have felt bad about it personally. So that's just me. But then again, we fight different demons, right? We've all had our battles and we fight different demons every single day. Again, I do want to thank you for sharing your story, man. We've got more than enough here. But to end on a lighter note, right? Because we need to breathe. We're going to need to decompress from this, man. I'm telling you. We are going to go back to Leon, who lost the coin toss a little earlier today. And we're going to...
You got them cameras? I want to replay that coin toss. I don't believe I lost.
That's a good one. Yeah, because we just decided... You know what? I was, the whole time he was talking, the whole time I was like, I never realized... I talked to David several times before, right? I never realized how much he sounds like Denzel. He could easily do an impression. But it's not his turn. It's yours, bro. So
there we go.
I think he should be
Leave us.
I think he needs to be Cat Williams.
There you go. Can you do Cat Williams?
I give it my best.
Give it your best. Cat Williams impression. Take us out, Leon.
Leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll catch you next week when we share conversations directly from the barbershop, Manhood Matters, and we're out.
Let's go, baby.
Yo, he's funny as hell.
Good job, bro.
That was a good try, though.
Express friends, powerful blend, tackling issues that never